Tottenham versus Chelsea. For the Blues, away at Wembley Stadium. But can Chelsea stay unbeaten? Can we get revenge for that first defeat at Stamford Bridge in almost 3 decades? A game that doesn't really have a favourite, but matters a huge amount to the fans and both teams. To find out everything you need to know about both clubs, injury news, tactics, lineups, etc. ahead of tomorrow's game, make sure you watch all of this preview. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my preview of the Tottenham versus Chelsea game taking place obviously tomorrow evening at 5:30 PM UK time, like I said, at Wembley Stadium. And it's one of those games where you're just at the same time extremely excited but also just bricking it, like absolutely bricking it. Like, I'm nervous, like I can't deny it. I think most fans are nervous, whether that's Chelsea or Tottenham. I think we're all a little bit nervous because it's a game we all desperately want to win, no matter where we are in the league. It doesn't matter. We just want to win. It's about beating Tottenham. Like, of course it's great if we can, increase the gap to them in the league and stuff, but mainly we just want to win. And no faffing about, let's get straight into the preview and starting off. We're speaking about our opposition, Tottenham. Now, Spurs currently sit in 4th on 27 points, which is 1 point behind ourselves. They are on 9 wins, 0 draws and 3 defeats, scoring 20 goals themselves while conceding 10. Now, Spurs this season have been a bit weird. Like, quite frankly, they've been a bit strange. Like, they're only 1 point behind us. They're only 5 points behind City, which isn't really that bad after, quite a few games played already. But they are never really actually playing well. Like, they're getting results, but they're not playing well. I mean, I haven't watched all of their games, of course, but from what I have seen, which were still quite a few games, the 1-0 defeat to City was one of, if not their best game all season, and even that, City could have easily won by 2 or 3. Although, to be fair, Tottenham also had two very good chances in that game that they should have done better with. But, looking at their recent games, the 1-0 win at Palace before the international break, extremely lucky win. 2-1 against PSV in the Champions League at Wembley. Yes, they dominated the game, but at 1-1, PSV were 1-on-1 with the keeper and bottled it. And had they not won that game, they basically would have been guaranteed to be knocked out of the Champions League. I mean, they're still now unlikely to go through, but at least there is a chance now for them after that result. And, they kind of got lucky with that as well, even though they dominated the game. Then the 3-2 win away at Wolves not too long ago as well. Very, very lucky. Wolves missed quite a lot of chances early on, then Spurs just take the lead out of nowhere basically. Then Wolves had a clear onside goal disallowed. It was just all over the place. Like I said, very lucky. But also other wins that might not have been lucky were mostly pretty scrapey. Like, they haven't really had many comfortable victories. Like, not that I know of anyway, like when I have watched them basically. Like, also that 3-0 win away at Manchester United sounds ridiculous of a result really for them. But Man United should at least have been up by 2 goals at half-time. And, obviously Spurs scored all their 3 goals after half-time in the second half. So, another result that just looks a lot better than it actually is. But nonetheless, and as much as it pains me to say it, Spurs are a good team with a lot of very good players. Even though some of them haven't exactly been in great form this season, like Dele Alli or Heung-min Son, or even Harry Kane in my opinion. Because I believe he hasn't been particularly great since picking up the ankle injury away at Bournemouth last season. But he still gets goals. Like, whether that's for England, obviously he won the goal debut at the World Cup, even though, he didn't do that much to actually win that, in my opinion. Or also for Spurs, like, he's still getting goals. He's got 6 goals in the league. He scored basically 2 against PSV. So he's still doing well. He got the winner for England against Croatia just last weekend. So he's still getting goals, but he's not actually playing as well, anywhere near as well, in my opinion, as he has done in previous seasons. I mentioned Dele Alli as not having a particularly great season so far. But then he always turns up against us for some reason and somehow, always with the header at the far post. That always happens, at least, recently. Eriksen, in my opinion, always causes us problems. He's a great player, in my opinion. Like, I like him a lot, always causes us problems. And Lucas as well, Lucas Moura has been playing well too. So, they will cause us problems. And they have very good players, like I said. But they also do have a lot of injury problems, actually. Davinson Sanchez, their centre-back, who, I think is a very good centre-back. He's out injured. Trippier is injured. Dembele, Danny Rose, they're all out. But Jan Vertonghen has returned to full training this week after being out for 2 months. And he's now in contention to play tomorrow, according to Pochettino. Now, formation-wise, so far this season, Spurs pretty much always go with a 4-2-3-1. Although that usually means only one of Eriksen and Dele Alli starting. Yes, Eriksen was out injured for a while, and I think Ali had a little moment of, period of injury as well. Whether Pochettino now will change things around, with both of them being fully fit and try to start both, we'll have to wait and see. But recently, especially, they've always gone with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Tactically, they try to do different things. Like, they don't just stick to one thing if you want. Some people claim they do, but me personally, I don't really see it. Like, sometimes I see them trying to play out from the back, sometimes well, sometimes not so well. Sometimes they just try to send their wingers basically with through balls, whether that's over the top or along the ground. Sometimes they just keep crossing the ball to Harry Kane, especially when Trippier plays. They do that quite a lot, I think. Sometimes they try to press really hard and high up the pitch. And it just varies a lot, but that doesn't mean it can't all be effective. Like, generally, they're just a very good team that are strong in a lot of areas, and they will certainly be difficult to beat. I mean, that is all I'm going to say about Tottenham, today, but there is, of course, more that I could say, but, this video would just drag for ages, so let's leave it at that with Tottenham. Like I said, strong team, will be difficult to beat them, but now let's get into Maurizio Sarri's pre-match press conference. And on team news, firstly, Sarri said that we basically have no big problems, which is obviously great that basically everyone is fit, even though, as always, after the international break, there are some small, issues or tiredness, but the boss did confirm that, for example, Mateo Kovacic, who, was injured when he was with Croatia and wasn't even on the bench against England, should be able to play tomorrow after picking up an ankle injury with Croatia, like I said. But he completed the whole training session yesterday with the team. And, like I said, Sarri said he should be fine. And then he was, of course, asked about N'Golo Kante extending his contract at Chelsea until 2023, which was confirmed this morning. And Sarri said that N'Golo isn't just a player for us. He's a very decisive player for us. So the boss is very happy about him signing that new deal. And basically also deemed him as a great professional both on and off the pitch. And he also said that the Frenchman is obviously very important for us defensively. Everyone knows that. But he also stated that he's improving in the offensive movement, but still has to improve more in the last 20 to 25 meters. And Sarri actually thinks that Kante can score more goals. I mean, whether Kante will actually start scoring more goals, let's wait and see about that. But, I gave my thoughts on him signing a new deal on Wednesday. Obviously, when I mentioned, it's still being a strong rumour. Now it obviously is official. And to put it simply, I'm extremely happy about it. But moving on with the press conference, the follow-up question to that was whether a new contract for Eden Hazard would follow soon. And Sarri to that basically said that he doesn't know about the evolution of a new contract for him, but does believe that we can do it. Basically, that we can tie Hazard to Chelsea long term, which again would obviously be absolutely incredible. Moving on from that, he was then asked about the slow start we had in most of our recent games, especially, at the start of the first half, but also sometimes in the second half. And Sarri said that it's not a tactical or physical problem at all, but basically a mental problem, as the other teams, in his opinion, and that's what he said, were more aggressive and determined than we were, especially at the start of the game. I found that very interesting. While I do agree with him, it just doesn't look like we're fully on it until 15-20 minutes into the game. I didn't expect him to say that openly. But that was it from the press conference, and now coming to Chelsea and coming to the lineup that I think Sarri will go with tomorrow. Now, most of it, as usual, especially in the Premier League, kind of picks itself. But let's go through it, and obviously it's going to be in the 4-3-3 formation. Kepa Arrizabalaga will be in goal. The back four will consist of Marcos Alonso and Cesar Azpilicueta as the two fullbacks, then with David Luiz and Antonio Rudiger being the centre-back partnership. Then in midfield, you'll have Jorginho and N'Golo Kante, because those two are basically guaranteed to start. And also Hazard starting at left wing is pretty much set in stone as well. Now, obviously, you can realise I've left out 4 positions, for now, because over those 4 positions, you can kind of have at least a small debate about. There are small questions as to who Sarri will start, as to who Sarri will go with. And as the third midfielder, I think he is most likely to go with Mateo Kovacic. The Croatian has started, pretty much every game against the big teams, and also started the last game before the break. I mean, obviously he had that minor injury during the break when, Barkley didn't. But, maybe that might give Barkley the nod ahead of the Croatian. We'll have to wait and see. Possibly even off the cheek, although I very much doubt that. I mean, to me, I just think he's going to go with Kovacic. Let's hope, tomorrow he can provide the goal threat that he's been missing so far this season. But like I said, I think Sarri is going to go with Kovacic, unless obviously he isn't fully fit. He isn't as fit as Sarri obviously deemed him to be today. On the right wing, as you know, I would basically always rather see Pedro, but Sarri seems to prefer Willian more often than not. But Pedro, unlike Willian, was not on international duty last week or this week or whatever. So that might kind of give Pedro a bigger chance of starting. But when I'm predicting the lineup and knowing Sarri, has almost always gone with Willian so far this season, I'll, go with Willian in my predicted 11, although it wouldn't be a huge shock to me at all if it was Pedro to start tomorrow. And then up front, well, I'd go with Morata, and I also think that Maurizio Sarri will go with Morata. I mean, I think he's done well recently. He scored goals, not in the last game, but before that, and overall just played a lot better. He received a lot of criticism for the game against Everton, which I thought was completely unjustified. But like I said, I would go with Morata. I think Sarri will do so as well, and I also think that he deserves it. Plus, adding to that as well, I think he was back, with the squad 2 days earlier than Olivier Giroud, similar to Hazard, as Spain, played their last game on Sunday compared to France, who obviously played a friendly on Tuesday against Uruguay, in which, Giroud also played like 80 minutes. So yeah, this is the team that I think Sarri will pick. Tactically, we're obviously going to do the same pretty much that we always do. Possession and passing football. Now against Tottenham, you'd expect the mentality issue kind of thing that Sarri mentioned in the press conference not to be a problem, because obviously it's Tottenham, you'd hope for the players to be hyped up from, the get-go and not just take 15-20 minutes to get into it. But we do certainly have to make sure that we pass the ball a lot quicker than we have done recently. I think that was our main downfall when we haven't had great results recently, or when we haven't played that well recently. Sarri's style of play only works when you move the ball quickly, when you actually move it really quickly. Otherwise, it's just slow, it looks uncreative, and it just doesn't have much end product to it, because passing football only works when you pass it quickly. Because otherwise, the opponent can just close you down, can cut passing lanes. You make it way too easy for your opponent. But, when you do pass it quickly, it works wonders. So yeah, like I said, move the damn ball quickly, and we also need more movement from the players themselves, which is hugely important and was also an issue for us, especially against Everton, but also in other games as well. Especially the wingers and the two midfielders ahead of Jorginho, they have to move a lot more. They have to make themselves available a lot more, in my opinion. Whether Spurs will try to mark Jorginho and take him out of the game, we'll have to wait and see, but it is certainly a possibility. And if that happens, we have to make sure that the centre-backs, Rudiger and David Luiz, do have options to pass the ball to, and that's not just sideways and simple passes, actual passes that can help us start an attack to the two midfielders ahead of Jorginho, to the wingers. And if Morata comes deep, to receive the ball, one of the wingers, in my opinion, I'm not sure whether Sarri agrees, but in my opinion, has to start a darting run towards the middle, like from the wing. With that, obviously, drag a defender, which opens up space. And obviously, then, like I said, use that space, someone else use that space. Obviously, ideally, the winger just finds himself with a chance. And, if it all goes perfectly, we also take that chance and he scores. But, we just have to move these things. We just have to, we just have to move so much more, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. We just have to move more, and we have to pass quicker. And obviously, as always, when we do create chances, we have to take those chances while obviously not making defensive errors ourselves. That will be very helpful, especially against a good team like Tottenham. Tactically, I think it will be a very interesting game, but I know for sure that it will be nerve-wracking for me. Like, I both love and hate playing against Tottenham. Like I said in the beginning, regardless of the league table, regardless of the fight for top 4 or the title or whatever you think we're fighting for, I just want to beat Tottenham, no matter what and no matter how. Just bloody beat them, lads. Most likely scenario for that to happen is if we get an early goal. Could really do with 2 goals as well, but especially 1 early goal would be hugely important in my opinion. Of course, we have to make sure that we actually turn up in the first 20 minutes, like I said. And now lastly, coming to my score prediction. And with that, I really have no idea what to go with. I mean, Wembley is a very large pitch, which should in theory help our style of play. But the actual state of the pitch, with the NFL and whatever play being, played there, isn't helpful for our style of football at all. Of course, there's a lot of bounces that the ball can take from such an uneven just ground and pitch. And obviously that doesn't help us. But, when I'm reading too much into that, and obviously it's the same for both teams, although the style isn't exactly the same. But you can kind of realise maybe that I'm kind of talking around the bush, because I just don't know what to go with for my score prediction. I'll go with a 1-1 draw. We could win, but we could also lose. So I'm going to predict a draw. But, I'm going to cross my fingers until they break, hoping that we will win. Because in our hunt to secure top 4 as early as possible, a win tomorrow would be vital. Again, I said disregarding, all of that. I just wanted to beat Spurs. Yes. But, if we don't disregard it, to get top 4, beating them tomorrow would be huge. But that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below on everything that I've said. Leave me your score predictions. Leave me your predicted lineups. Would you go with Barkley? Would you go with Kovacic? Would you go with Morata? Would you go with Giroud, Willian, Pedro? All of that. Leave me your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button down below. We would massively appreciate that, because it just shows us, that you do enjoy our content. So if you did like it, make sure you smash the like button down below. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Last1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description, so if you could follow me there, I would absolutely love that. And obviously this is YouTube, so if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future videos. Of course, there's loads of content coming out surrounding the game. This is the preview. There's other videos that we've done with Tottenham fans and Tottenham channels that obviously are coming out that you should really check out ahead of the game. There will be a review, there will be fan cams, there will be a vlog, all sorts of content. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Absolutely, buzzing ahead of the game, but also breaking it, like I said. But yeah, up the Chelsea. Let's get the win tomorrow, and I'll see you next time.